Here's an AMI This Week shortcut with Grant Hardy.
My art became more about the pedagogy of learning versus, what color and material and mediums am I going to use? My name is Taryn Goodwin. I use she, they pronouns, and I identify as a neurodivergent and disability artist and social practice writer and community builder.
For Taryn, academia had its challenges.
It was in 2014. So I was at Emily Carr at the time. And I, before that, was an abstract painter, performance artist, and I love large scale and working with them through my body. I was also coming through recovery of a head injury as well at the time, a couple of years previous to that. And so understanding the different shapes and forms my body was and wasn't able to do anymore as a young person. And yeah, it wasn't until 2014 when my practice really took a turn, not feeling like I could sustain myself, that led me to drop out of university in 2016. And then it was only because of the pandemic that I was able to see myself come back as a remote learner.
Knowing there must be other like-minded students with similar struggles at Emily Carr University, Taryn resolved to bring her community together to build a peer support and arts collective. Taryn describes what their virtual meetings are like.
So within the collective, some things that I've experienced have happened on the Discord channel. So it's just people sharing memes that are like, yep, that's really relatable. Or, just connecting and sharing exhibitions or scholarships or grants that come through. People are always posting opportunities for one another. I also find people are just really beautiful about writing, I'm having a hard time with this transition in my life right now. I just need some support, and people will just chime in.
It's such a different thing to be able to say something that I've done or I'm thinking, and for other people to be nodding and laughing. It's so healing and affirming.
Jay White is a neurodiverse artist who teaches at Emily Carr University. Recently diagnosed with autism, Jay knows well the importance of peer support and eliminating stigma about our diversity.
I think actually Taryn was at a meeting where I think it might have been one of the first times I had said it in any meeting to anybody, and we were just talking about things, and it was an anti-racist meeting and talking about anti-oppression, and I just brought up and just said, look, I just want you all to know that I'm autistic and ADHD, and it's the world is different to me as well. I made a decision basically that I'm going to be out, and not just out, but always advocating. And using the position and the power that I have in this place to make a change for others. It's a fairly neurotypical world out there. And it feels like in these meetings, it's just this, I'm so aware of the energy that I spend to be to compensate and mask at times. And then in those meetings, I can just feel like the weight just goes off.
Jay has also dealt with the traditional access barriers in academia, including in his role as an instructor. He hopes the Arts Collective will make positive social change.
When I look at the group too, it's interesting, the people, it's a confidential group, and we're like, anybody from the university, come show up. And I was like, oh, interesting. Almost the students who are in this group, I know almost all of them, because they're all involved in making massive changes at the university. And there's I don't know, this feels like there's it moves beyond just affirmation and support and healing to what are the really incredible things that we bring when we're together, not just as individuals, but when we're together, that the world hasn't even seen yet.
Ultimately, Taryn hopes that the future of academia can be reimagined.
I always imagine a university without any accommodation departments. That would just be dreamy. And it's that's always kind of my goal is how do we get there? How do we imagine now what it's like to not have to ask to always be seen, to always be met, and to rather just build an environment that is individual yet collective.